I am with Brenda Shoshanna, who is a longtime meditator and who has spoken a lot about Zen.
Nice to meet you. Hello. We were speaking about how authority and looking for the answers outside ourselves is dangerous. It's actually dangerous and it can run our whole lives.
Yeah, yeah. And so when we talk about authority, we often are split. There is the authority and there's the person
Mhm.
who submits to authority or rebels against authority. And so how do we embody that in the discussion instead of just talking about it?
Well, in order to, for me, just to embody anything is just to really, really be true to myself and to tune in to what I'm feeling, to be conscious of it, to be present to it, and to let it speak. It's like I'm not speaking, it's speaking, that voice
Oh,
within.
so why aren't we, for the moment, the voices of authority?
Okay.
And so I'm going to, and you're going to tune inside and find the authority inside speaking and let ourselves be surprised by what it might say.
I love that. And do you know what just came to me? Because when I first heard that to be the voice of authority, I flinched. I said, "Ugh, I don't want to, I don't want to be an authority." But then I realized it was such a wonderful moment when I heard that. I realized there's also a very beautiful, powerful experience of being the authority. It doesn't mean dominating anyone or anyone looking up to you or pushing anyone. It means listening to yourself, to your own true voice. Thank you. It's such a beautiful realization.
Yeah, yeah.
I
And
think
so,
we probably have maybe others too, a very negative response when we think of an authority doing something imposing upon us.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm going to elaborate on what you're saying, just kind of essentially say the same thing with maybe a slightly different way. But when I hear the word authority, I think of it as something that's external and that's imposing something on me. Or I
Right.
think of maybe if I become authority, it's imposing on other people.
Mm,
And what you're talking about and that I resonate with is the notion of authority as being in resonance with
mm,
what is truly a sense of myself and a sense of where I'm at, what I want. And it's not an authority that imposes on anybody. Rather,
beautiful.
it's a sense of the power of that sense of truth of reality.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And I love that. I love that. And it's a completely different experience then of authority. It's what we call in Zen, they say often, who's the master of your life? And the answer is you are. However, it's another way of saying the same thing, to be your own, which to be authentic, to be truly authentic, to occupy your own truth, to live it, to embody it. I think that's a really a completely different take on authority and a very healing and healthy one in my view.
Yeah, yeah. And so you use the phrase to occupy your own truth. And as I
And
was listening to you, what I noticed is that my spine straightened ever so little. It may not have been visible, but I felt
beautiful.
inside kind of a sense of um,
Mm.
straighter, expanding a little bit, like taking more space, having more space. So
I love
physical
that. That
sensation
is
of
so
that.
wonderful. I've had that experience myself at moments when something was true and it touched me. My spine would, would it is like you're doing Zazen, your spine would go up. It's like you feel taller. You feel more, it's like being not in control, but in command
Hmm.
of your own self. And there's more sense of dignity too, because it's a feeling of honoring your own self, that honoring of it. that's a wonderful and rare event because mostly we honor this person, that person, we bow to them, which is nothing wrong with bowing. If we're bowing, I think to say thank you or I respect you, I honor you, that's fine. But there's a different kind of bowing also, which is like not so much just submitting, but scrunching over, becoming smaller, giving up what's true for you
Yeah.
to some kind of an authority. And it's a very painful process, and in my view, very dangerous process.
Yeah. 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 So that sense of finding and but that sense of you say um, being in command, but it's being in command that's different from
Very
how we
different.
usually think of command, because how we
Right.
usually think of command is there is the commander and there is the person who is being told what to do. And
Right.
here it's the same thing. So that so what's it like to have both? What's happening when we're
Right.
both?
Oh, so I love that when we're playing both roles, when we're the one in command, and but I'm not commanding. I'm not bossing myself around. I'm just making, as you said, space for myself to live and to speak my truth, to
Yeah.
speak, not to speak in order to hurt anyone or to push anyone down or to command anyone, but like a poem to
Hmm.
express what's real and what's meaningful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so you use the phrase making space
Yeah.
and that sense of to express what's real and meaningful. So making space for what's real and meaningful.
Mm, wow. I would say that if we could do that all the time, I don't want to get into a fantasy and a hope, which is naturally, that's unfortunate. But I would say that that's a very, very beautiful activity. Let's just call it when the activity comes of making space for what's real and meaningful in one's life, everybody benefits. That's what I've noticed. So everybody around you benefits because their back goes up straighter too. And it's like, well, if you can do it, they can do it. It's like you give them permission to live that way as well.
Yeah,
That's very different from an authority which says, oh, you better do what I say, or else. But this way is giving people permission to have their own space, to
yeah,
occupy what's meaningful for them.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And,
So
and
so
then and when they share it, it's wonderful to hear what's meaningful for someone else. It can inspire you too. You don't have to fight it off
so
or kill them because it's meaningful.
it's a mixture of giving permission and also leading the way, showing the example. So
Yeah.
kind of it's demonstrating that it's possible. It's inviting. It's yeah.
Yeah, and it's allowed. The word allowed
Loud.
comes to me. That's a big word for me. Is it
Yeah.
allowed? When I was raised, there was always a question, is it allowed? You're not allowed. This isn't allowed. That's allowed. And and at some point, who's the one who's allowing it, not allowing it? What do you mean? This is life happening. And it's a very it's beyond giving permission, the word of allow.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
life
So
is happening. Allow
giving
life to happen.
giving permission is that it implies too much that authority that
Yes.
it's okay or it's not okay. But
Mhm.
allowing there's some quality of something emerging, something spontaneous, something that has
Yes.
space.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Beautifully put. Exactly. Like, will you allow the sun to shine in the morning? Will, are you gonna, oh, thank you very much for like, will you go to the ocean? Will you allow the waves to come in? You could stand there. I mean, who do we think we are? It's so wonderful to allow. I mean, just to
Yeah.
be in harmony. It's like being in harmony with what's happening and also what's happening inside of you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There are waves out there, the sunny day, the cold day, but there's also the waves inside of us
Yeah.
to
And
allow
so
that.
so
So,
there is very implicit in that is the idea that it's important, it's worth it to pay attention to what's happening inside of you.
It's crucial.
Yeah,
It's crucial. It's crucial. My goodness, so much everything now, especially with the online life, grabbing our attention. This story, that story, this person, we it's being grabbed. And so being mindful is really, really can be very hard at times because it's almost like an assault of different stimuli, that really try to grab your attention. But to be mindful is just to return home, I would say, to
yeah,
what's actually happening inside of you and inside of your world, and to allow it if and allow it, because you won't let yourself be aware of something if you're not willing to allow it.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Then you want to block it out otherwise. But I think allowing comes even before mindfulness. I mean, it helps it a lot. Then you don't have to resist the mindfulness so much or get so distracted by everything. Just to know that we could allow ourselves to live. It's not, that sounds very simple, but it isn't. Very few, I think, really allow themselves to live.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And so to just maybe what you're saying brings up for me um, the sense of what happens in meditation. And for me, of what happened when I decided that I was not going to be able to meditate a certain way, and that it
Mm-hmm.
became a moment for allowing myself to be with myself.
Oh, very nice.
And so what you're saying kind of makes me smile and have a sense of support for that.
Beautiful. Isn't it? I think it's so courageous that you said, I can't meditate that way. And that, first of all, takes courage and awareness and to allow yourself to be yourself. Whoa. That's beautiful. That's true meditation anyway. That's it. To allow you to continue the journey of being yourself, which never ends till we die. It's not like getting
Yeah.
somewhere else, becoming someone else.
Yeah.
To
And so that can go into something that might feel strange to some people who equate the notion that, oh, self is a bad thing. You have to go to no self. You have to. And so,
Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
I love that I agree with you, and I'm so glad you said that. And we say in Zen, nirvana is samsara, which means this: samsara is self. Everyday life. I get hungry, I eat. I like this one, maybe I don't like that one. I'm dealing with the relative world. Here I am. I'm here, and we don't want to use our practice to block that out or to hate it or to reject it. That's a
Mhm.
very big danger, I think. And but to see that nirvana, all the beauty we ever wanted. In Ada Roshi always said nirvana is samsara. All this relative world is heaven. Nirvana, it is, depending on how we react to it. That's the whole point, depending on what we do with it. We could
Mhm.
hate it, we could reject it, we could try to impose ourselves on it, then it's going to be, yeah. Or we could we could allow it to, we could allow the beauty of it, the beauty of the relative self. There is a relative self, and it's not bad. I mean, if we try to deny that we have feelings and thoughts and desires, that denial will knock us down. But if we just allow ourselves to know them, to be with them, to honor them, what I have found in my practice when I do that is the ones that are not helpful, that are negative, they over a period of time they do diminish greatly or disappear.
Yeah.
It's because I'm not resisting it, I'm not pushing it away, I'm just exploring it, I'm with it, but I'm not hating it. If you're hating it, if you're hating this help or whatever there you have in right now, it makes life very painful.
Yeah.
And 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 so it's a difficult road to take, that road. There are many confusions, I think, in the way people meditate, like they want a result. I want to become a good person. I want to become a Buddha. Want to become, but it's all about this moment, that who you are right now, and and here you are.
Yeah.
Don't
So
run away
what
from here you are.
So what you're talking about is not editing, of saying, "Oh, I'm going to take away these things," or "this thing is not acceptable, I kind of remove
Right.
it." But really that sense of making room for all that you are, all that I am,
Yeah,
letting
how
it
beautiful.
unfold. And as it unfolds, then there is the possibility of actually seeing the consequences. And based on knowing that, slowly, that experience you're describing, that over time, by giving that free rein for everything, then there is a chance of going more toward what works for you than what doesn't.
Absolutely. I think that's how it works, actually. I think there's a wisdom that does it. I'm not going to personalize that wisdom, but like when we eat a meal, we don't know
Mhm.
how we're digesting the food. We don't know how. We don't know how we eliminate the waste. We take the nourishment. There's a wisdom that does that.
Yeah,
It takes we take the nourishment, we eliminate the waste. The same thing with life. It's like digesting life. We're eating the meal of life. And when we really eat it and are aware of it and taste it fully, then we can digest it. And we will naturally, there's a waste, the part that isn't beneficial. Well, I think it will naturally just go away or become fertilizer for something else. And the part that's nourishing, there it is. And it requires a lot of trust,
yeah.
because in our normal life, we don't live with that kind of trust.
Mm,
You know, we're
mm.
guarded, we're watching, we're scared, we're looking for the best authority to listen to in town. And this constant search for a teacher. Or I love what Joko Beck, she's not alive now, a wonderful Zen teacher, wonderful woman. She said, life as it is the only teacher.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Isn't that
Life as
wonderful?
is the only teacher. Yeah. And so what
I
you're
love that.
talking about is that sense of trust that it will actually work out. Um,
In the
that,
way it does.
yeah.
It works out in the way, not the way you want it, maybe,
Yes,
not the way
yes.
you imagined or fantasized, but even trusting the way it works out, even if it looks painful or upsetting, or oh, I didn't want this. Too bad.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
allowing the whole picture. It's allowing all of it. And then ultimately it might have been the perfect way to work out, but who knows? It's not about that. It's about just allowing life to be life.
yeah, yeah. And so that's the opposite of the trying so hard to control based on
Mhm.
a narrow idea of what is right and wrong and following some
Oh,
authority about it, but allowing the space
yeah.
to let life unfold.
I love that. I love the way you put it. Yes, and it makes me want to sit much more when I hear that, not, oh, you better do it or else blah blah blah. You're gonna die soon and you don't have time left. All of that. Mm. For me, what works for me is, oh, I could allow it to. I love the process of everything unfolding, because that's also the way life, that's my experience of how life is. One minute it looks very dim and upsetting, and the other minute very beautiful, right?
Hmm,
And
hmm.
then we're scared to death, and then we're completely overjoyed. So just allow all that. It's like a waterfall with all kinds of stuff flowing, and that's what we're experiencing. It here we are. Don't I would say not to hate your experience, not to hate yourself. People identify with their experience, which you might not later on. It's your experience, but there's a lot of beauty and a lot to learn, and a lot of I'm experiencing in my life. I have experienced a lot of, especially since COVID, I must say, because there's been so much intense. It's been like in an intense retreat since COVID in some ways, and then well, issues coming up. It's a good time to grow.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a good time. You can go the other way and get really upset, and or you can say, okay, this is a good time to grow. Let me
yeah,
allow life.
yeah, yeah. yeah. So that, yeah, that sense of having that contemplative attitude toward life, which does not
Yeah,
mean being separate from it, but that there's a
yeah,
part of you that's aware that life unfolds, life may
yeah,
bring you in unexpected directions, but there is movement, there is something there.
yeah. Right, exactly.
Yeah,
I love this discussion, and I would say to me, just for me, my experience, which I'm sharing, one of the biggest mistakes um, is to hate life, to reject it, to consider it bad, to identify with the mistakes we've made, maybe. And who calls it a mistake anyway?
yeah,
It's just, I mean, if you didn't, how could you learn if you didn't make a mistake? It's not even a mistake. It's just what happened. It's how you look at it. It's how you receive it.
yeah, yeah,
And going back to the authority, there is that very negative authority within each of us. There is within me, that's for sure. That judges me, that tries to boss me around, and that says, You didn't do this, you did that." Always watching, pushing. Still to this day, it's much better than it was, but it's still to this day. And we can just welcome that too. Because if you welcome it and you notice it, say, "Oh, hi, here you are again. Hi." If you do that, it takes a lot of its energy and power away,
yeah,
strangely enough.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
just part of the whole phenomena. It has a part. It's not the king that's going to, it's just part of the whole scene. Not to deny that we have that, and I certainly have that in me. But the more I'm aware of it, the more it does subside. And there are times it emerges, of course, but it's a process. It's just the whole. I would say not to have any goals or pictures of how you're supposed to be as you continue to sit and practice and meditate, whatever you do, to
yeah,
allow it to be revealed.
yeah,
It's going to probably be something much more beautiful than you ever imagined.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So you're talking about embracing even that very negative part
Yeah,
of ourselves.
you
And
have to.
and that sense of, in some ways, while at times it can be really excruciating and be really difficult, there's also
Yeah,
that sense of um, something is unfolding, and
yeah,
you're in the first rank, first place to see it, to see.
yeah, exactly. If you can allow it, then you can really see what it is,
Yeah,
and make maybe you could make friends with it. And maybe you could even it maybe it'll begin to like you a little bit. Maybe it will change too.
yeah,
And of course it will, because everything has to change. There's nothing but change. So if you're
mhm,
not resisting and fighting and hating it, that holds it stuck. But if you're just observing it, allowing it, then it has to change, because that's the rhythm of life. Everything doesn't last that
And
long.
so a moment ago you had the gesture, you're talking about resisting, and you put your two fists together, and it's a great
Right,
expression of resisting. And so it's interesting of how the movement of the two, kind of clashing in this way, and one
right.
pushing, the other pushing
Yeah.
back, but it can become kind of a dance. And
It
then
can.
and then you're no longer in that moment of resisting. There's things that are opposite maybe, but there's a dance that's coming out of it, and there's harmony.
Yes, and look, look, say this here. I like the hand part here. See, something is coming at you and you're resisting, so you're keeping it stuck. You're both stuck.
Yeah.
Say something is coming at you. You see it coming, but you're not resisting it. You're making room even for it to move along. You
Yeah,
do it,
yeah,
don't
yeah, yeah,
letting
yeah. Yeah, and so
take
you're moving,
take
yeah.
the energy away from it.
So as the hand is advancing, instead of blocking it with the other hand kind of gently sets
Oh,
aside, and then it
right.
starts a movement.
Yes.
Yes.
Then it's not stuck. And it just allows, it's allowing when it goes like this, it's allowing whatever it is to come.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and it's really, that's how I see it, as like allowing.
Yeah.
It seems very scary at first. I better block this thing out, but that doesn't work well that way.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
keep
Yeah.
it stuck and you're losing a lot of energy. Oh, fighting this, and who needs it? It's like just
Yeah.
it will come, and with its own energy, it'll just keep going if you're not blocking it.
So this seems like a very nice place to end. I want to just check if you have something more you want to add, or if it feels right here.
I want to say thank you. And that's what I want to add because I such, it's a joy to talk and to explore these matters with someone else who cares about it, and each of you illuminate it for the other
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah,
what we are here to do. I think we can all illuminate it for the other,
yeah.
say it a little differently, or share an experience. So, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Brenda.